Good evening, gear fans. I'm going to go through my giant Eurorack 60U over 1200 HP build in a little more detail than the short video and how I arrived here after much obsessing. I guess I have to go back a little bit in my botched Eurorack journey. I made every bad mistake every Eurorack beginner makes that the more experienced Eurorack users always tell beginners like me. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do it this way. And I rushed in headlong and made every mistake there was to make. If there was guidance from the more Eurorack experienced people, I did not take it. What I mean by that is the one thing the more seasoned Eurorack people will tell you, and that's still not me, I'm still a Eurorack beginner, is to have a plan. I think the flaw in that logic is, though, when you're new, like I still am, Eurorack, you don't know what you need. You at that point don't know, oh, I need an oscillator to go into a filter, to go into an ADSR that goes into maybe some more modulation, and then I need a sequencer, and I need a way to like, you just don't know. So you buy a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and next thing you know, you've got this mutt that barely works. I mean, it works, but it's not fun, it's not inspiring, and it's just a mess of cheap modules. So I bought the Mother 32, and it has its pros and its cons. I keep it because it sounds fantastic, but not a great way to learn, not a great way to learn how a modular synthesizer works. I had bought the Arturia Mini Brute 2. Another, it sounded okay. Another kind of okay way to learn. I really didn't get to wrap my head around it. It wasn't what taught me. One of the better things that taught me, honestly, was going in as Roland 100. You grab yourself an oscillator. You put that into a filter. I got a couple of filters up here. You put that into... I've got sample and hold, I've got some VCAs, I've got some gates, I've got some multiples. I don't know, just the individual chunks, the individual modules were more helpful for me than a semi-patched system such as the Mini Brute 2. I also bought the grandmother. Again, it was just like, well, I'll just buy the grandmother, and that'll teach me. And it actually isn't bad either, because it's laid out so nice. Couple oscillators, your modulation to the left, your ARP and sequencers over here, a mixer, utility, filter, the ADSR, the envelope, the out and the reverb. Of course, you got your keys, your ARP and sequencer controls down here. In hindsight, this is a great way to go if you're just learning, and then you can apply that to these little guys here, because so this guy here, this is this, this is this, these guys are this, but you don't know these things when you're new. And I mean, I still consider myself new. See this one here? I don't have a clue what that does yet. I've messed with it, but that is that is next level Eurorack modular. I'm not there yet. I'm still trying to figure this one out. At any rate, what's with the rant? Well, I also at one point I had the two Behringer Eurorack Go's, which is, I believe from memory, I think that's some 560 HP of space, and they stack up, but they stack up quite high and deep. So I've got this on a 6-foot table. Let me see if I can keep going back. That's on a 6-foot table. You'd need 40 inches across, and you'd need, I think, some 30 inches this way. It's a lot deeper than it looks. If you look at Behringer System 55, the 2 Euroracks, it's quite high and quite deep. I had it, and it's a fun way to play, because it's real wide. I think it's 140 wide. 140, 140, 140, and 140. I don't know the calculator right now, but I think that's the five whatever. It's fun, but it's just not where my brain was going. I've been obsessing about this build for, well, honestly, two years, but really bad lately. And it stemmed from Behringer dropping their prices. Behringer dropped their prices 60%, supposedly because they're getting the transistors in. Transistors are going to be easier to get in now, and basically that's supply and demand story. Whereas the transistors are flooding in, and Behringer's like, well, let's go. That sparked something in me going, well, if of all Behringer's prices are 60% less, and they're building every synth under the sun, here's the Gray Meanie, the 2600. Who knew they're going to build this thing, for crying out loud? That's crazy. They're building a grandmother, believe it or not. I think they're calling it the Model 15. I want one. Like, I want one now. It's not out yet, but I'm in line. Like, Behringer is, and they're building, of course, all the 30 other synthesizers I've never even heard of. But, and 60% less than the competitor, 60% less than themselves, I'm in. So then it comes back to like, well, I'm running out of space here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the racks. And as you can see, they are full. I got one little blank here that I could pull out. And then I got my Juju duck, as I call it, that my daughter designed for me. And I was going to leave that in. I like it. So, and that little bit of space there isn't going to get me anything, as you can see. This is the size of your average Behringer module, and you know what I mean? That's not hurting anything. But I need more racks, so I'm going to put one here, 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 here. Like, I got space all over the place. This thing will hold some 1200 HP by the time I'm done putting in Behringer eurorack racks. Now, those are hard to get, especially in Canada. Behringer gave Cosmo Music exclusivity for some reason, which is about the worst thing. Because Cosmo never has any stock. They're always out of stock. Now, I know there's been COVID and all that, but you place an order with Cosmo, and they're like, well, thanks for the order. We'll get to you in 6 to 8 days. It's like, we've taken my money. You've taken my order. What could you possibly be doing for 6 to 8 days? And why would Behringer give you, of all the companies, over Long and McQuaid, over, was it Steve's Music at West, over Moog Music, over, what's that other really good one, Music Redone, over Studio Economique? They give it to Cosmo, the slowest, no stock having company with the bad support. I shouldn't say that. The support's not terrible, but it's just, it's not great. It's not the best. That's for darn sure. I'm no Long and McQuaid fan, but I would have rather seen them get Behringer exclusivity, because I can go an hour in any direction and go to a Long and McQuaid and get the stock, and they're actually not too bad. Long and McQuaid are actually not too bad for stocking things. I know people call Long and McQuaid long and delayed, or some of the other entendre acronyms, but they're actually not too bad. Not like Cosmo. Cosmo doesn't stock anything. Anything I go to put in my cart, they don't have, and they don't know when they can get it. So what was Behringer thinking giving them exclusivity? I mean, why don't I take 10, 20 grand, buy a heap of Behringer out of Sweetwater, and I'll supply the country of Canada with its Behringer? You know what I mean? Like, especially, you know, if it's as easy as, well, here's what people have wish listed, bring it in. Well, Cosmo's not interested. 3, 4 months, 8 months, never, who knows? But anyway, I rant. I think it was a really dumb idea for Behringer to give Cosmo Music exclusivity. Mark my word, I predict now that will become undone. That will get reversed. Cosmo will lose their distribution. They will lose their exclusivity, at least. Not their full distribution. They will lose that dirty deal with Behringer. And I'll do everything I can to make that happen, because Cosmo doesn't deserve it. If you can't stock stuff, right? Or just say on the website, just put, like, we ain't got it. We don't know when we're getting it. We're not really too worried about it, right? Just say that so that we can all go straight to Sweetwater, which is what I do anyway. But anyway, so I had the 2 Behringer rack cases. They're fun. I sold them. They sold real easy. I taped them all up and put them in boxes and sent them in the mail, believe it or not, despite how massively huge they are. These racks, Cosmo never has in stock. They ain't got them and they ain't knowing when they're getting them. So yeah, classic. But I can get them out of Sweetwater. These racks are $99 US a pop, but they hold 80 HP. Here's the quirk. This much of your HP is taken up, I think that's 4, with the power supply. So they're actually 80s. 80, 80, 80, 80. And then I can just keep adding them. There's 3U right there, 3U right there, 3U right there, 3U right there. That's more than 3U. At any rate, this whole rack is 20, 20, 20, 60. So these guys are 99 a pop, or about 135 Canadian a pop, plus tax, so call it 150 a pop. So every time you get another 80p into a big piece of furniture like this, that's what you are. And then there was the actual cost of the rack. It wasn't bad. Pine boards, some hardware. I'm no carpenter, I just whapped it together. The racking was $85 for the 6 racks, 3 sets, 6 racks. The little screws, I needed wood glue. I didn't have any. I was out. My angle brackets, I got some bracket support in there. So yeah, you're looking at just about $285. If you had a rack this size built, it'd be $2,200. And this is pine. I know it looks like janky side of the road wood, but it is pine, and we stained it. We stained it twice with a super dark stain, but it is pine wood. So it's about $285. You get this massive monster eurorack cabinet. So yeah, and so now the sky's the limit. What do I want to build? Do I want I hate to say it, I almost want another one of these. I almost want the original color or a blue Marvin. Yeah, I'm obsessive and excessive. But what am I going to build? I may finish my 2500. I may finish a Roland System 100. I may build racks and racks and racks of Mother 32s, maybe a DFAM. Maybe the new Model 15. That's not a maybe, that's a for sure. The new Behringer Model 15, that's a for sure. I may get farther into Make Noise. I don't know a lot about their stuff. I may get more into DIY, and that's not a maybe, that's a for sure. I'm going to be making my own eurorack modules. Yeah, the sky's the limit with this thing. Great big case. That's what you need to start off with. The reason I went with this this form factor, and I obsessed about this for a long time, 2 years at least, but really a lot since Behringer announced that price drop. I wanted the Moog 1969, 1970 3P look, right? Now I know that I don't have any handles up here, and I didn't metal the corners, but to me that looks like this. It looks like George Harrison's Abbey Road 3P in the 3 buckets. I wanted that look. If I wanted it more modern looking or futuristic, or if I wanted a tiny modular, I would have did that. This is exactly what I wanted and how I wanted it. Now part of me still wants those two, that Eurorack Go flip up system, where the one and then the one up top. I may still get that, and that was a big consideration to getting a table this deep, this 6-footer. Now I may actually have to extend this table out. So like I said, those two Behringers, those they are deep. I can't remember. I have the measurement written down. I think they're 30 wide, which is wider than this dude. Dude, it's a woman. Wider than the grandmother. Let's see if I can get the old tape measure to work. Janky tape measure. Measure Granny. Granny's just about 23 inches there, and I think you're talking 28, 29 for the other. I don't know if I can